Hello and welcome to our first cast here of the Irish League of Legends Championship. I am David Williams. Alongside me this evening is Luke Witzel-Evans, fresh off the plane, back from Canada, ready to cast for his debut cast, I think.
Very first cast.
Very first cast.
Fresh off the 27-hour flight that I took.
That's yeah. I mean, he's made a tough stop, Witzel, so he'll be fine. But going into this one, first round game here between Sentinel and NSG, two of the top teams in the tournament, two teams that were invited. We're going to get straight into the picks and bans coming in here. We're seeing the first few bans come in pretty quickly. Rumble and Callista going to be denied by Sentinel, who are on the blue side here for game one. And Cassiopeia is going to be their third ban as well. The response coming in from NSG, the Azir away from Azerul, the Shen away from Darkblah. I think those were two bans that would be expected, and the Lulu as well going to be denied.
Yeah, that Shen play, or that Shen pick, especially with its global pressure.
Yeah, it's definitely one that can impact the map, but I think there's Darkblah. That J-Force is something that can be played top lane, can be played jungle. We'll see where they do choose to put it. Maokai, another champion. There's a lot of those kind of picks right now that can flex between the lanes depending on where you want to put it, but they're also going to pick up the Tristana, a pretty high priority AD carry there for Adzi, so hoping to maybe have him have a big impact for his team. Also going to have the Janna there as well, so making sure they get their bot lane early on.
High priority and also high pressure in that bot lane, constantly pressuring first tower. So it's a good pick to pick up as well.
Yeah, Tristana, especially if you kind of, even when she's not really spiking hard, you can just leave her alone with those towers, and she's able to do quite a bit of damage. She can get the attack speed in, so the response will be the Braum pick by Sentinel there, giving that one over to Newt. We might be looking to pick up their AD carry here as well, but choosing to pick the Braum into the Janna, Sentinel may be favouring that for the support matchup. Like I said, if they do go for the AD carry here, Callista's been the only one ban away, but they're actually going to make sure they get the Maokai for themselves. So feeling confident with that Braum right now and making sure they have their top and jungle already selected here. J4 Maokai can do quite a bit of damage.
So a very beefy front line coming out from Sentinel first of all, so locking that J4 top, Maokai jungle, assumingly.
Yeah, definitely want to get in the faces of NSG here, but NSG going to make sure they get the Gragas for themselves. That one might be going to Goose in the jungle here. They don't want him to get maybe frozen out in this second ban phase. We'll see what they do choose to go for. Going to ban away the Malzahar as well, so Azrael getting targeted a fair bit here, but he's always one who has a bunch of some would say weird champions that he can play if needs be, but Ari also going to be denied as well. Ori, so mid lanes across the board here. Azrael and Rengus, two pretty strong players in their own right, going to be just kept down a little bit here. And last ban will be that Syndra. I believe Rengus has been playing it in a few scrims customs with NSG, so making sure that he's not going to get that one. We'll see what mid laners they go with now, considering there are already so many taken away.
So looking at the two teams in total, what is the most key matchup you would say in this game?
I think the mid lane, especially. Well, there's a lot of reasons I think it's the mid lane now. I mean, you have all the bans coming in, so they'll be deep enough for the champion pools, and also I think Azrael just a pretty star player for Sentinel in general. And then on the other side, Rengus, like you said, is plays for UK teams. He's normally a top laner, but even so, I imagine he can transition that pretty well to a big mid lane role here. So we'll see what kind of showing he can have. NSG are going to pick up that Kled for Rust in the top lane. The response will be the Sivir for Doma. So they have locked in that Sivir Braum lane, matching up against the Janna Tristana. Luke, do you see the Sivir Braum having what's the dynamic in that matchup there between those two? Picking against that really strong pushing or tower killing lane in that Tristana and the Janna.
Just to match the pushing power, so if Tristana's E naturally pushes the wave all the time, and then Sivir can match that pushing power with her Ricochet, so the main difference I see is the melee and range matchup, so if they can take advantage of by pushing him out of lane early, Tristana, Janna maybe can win that lane, but we can see how it goes.
Yes, certainly, and Azrael is going to pick himself up the Kassadin. Okay, he's blind picking the Kassadin there. It does give the option. Okay, that was the last minute. They're going to go with the Victor in response. Kassadin, he's safer pick than he used to be now in this mid lane, and I think it's definitely something that can be in Azrael's wheelhouse considering his style of play. Into that Victor though. Victor once again is kind of just another one of these mages that seem to be banned away from Rengus here, so he should be in a good spot either way. The Victor Kassadin matchup. I mean, Kassadin has a lot of different matchups depending on who he's against.
So both very scaling mid laners anyway, so I don't expect any too crazy shenanigans in the early game.
Yeah, imagine so. I mean, see if the jungler is going to have an impact though. That Kassadin before level 6 doesn't have the Rift Walk, so he's missing out on a lot of that. Hang on a second, I believe there's something going on in my house, but yeah, I mean, like I said, both these mid laners are mobile. Kassadin does get a little bit when he hits level 6, but before that, he is, I mean, they can catch him out, especially with the Gragas, who does have that early CC. That body slam can help you out a little bit. And there's no defensive summoner for him here either. Victor has the heal on the other side, and he never has mobility. So, Darkstelion maybe looking for something there with the Maokai, if he can find the right position. We'll see if Rengus is able to play that lane safely. Both these junglers, like I said, Goose and Darkstelion, generally rivals. And the Gragas Maokai matchup in the jungle, I mean, two tanky champions that can help their team out at all points in the game, really.
So looking at the two teams, then, what would your prediction be then overall for the best of two?
That's
Do you think we're going to go a 1-1, or do you think we're going to go for a stomp either side? Do you have a favorite side?
it's
I mean, I'm going to say, you know, I'm from Sentinel, so I'm going to hopefully say 2-0 Sentinel. But...
Okay, well, okay. I've opted into a biased co-caster by the looks of things. I don't know what sort of decision I made here, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of because like we talked about before the stream, we were talking about the 2-0 in the Piltover Cup when these two teams faced off. That was best of 3, and Sentinel came out on top, but. A lot of changes between both of these lineups now. NSG with that new top mid combo in Rust and Rengus, and they could have a pretty big impact. Rengus is a name that should be talked about a lot by a lot of people if he isn't being, because he could this coming over from that UK scene. And on the other side, Sentinel kind of having to fix up their lineup a little bit, but they have Dark Bland, that top lane, who has done a bit of damage in the past. Domo as well at the AD carry. Newt, the veteran, coming in at support. It's kind of strange. I think because NSG have directly upgraded, but Sentinel maybe haven't. So it's tough to call. It could really go either way, and I think game 1 will be a huge indicator because we'll see how this NSG lineup plays. I'm curious though. Like I said, obviously you'll be. I'm expecting you not to cheer for everything Sentinel does, though.
Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm not too biased. I mean, I've been out of the game for so long. I mean, 4 months in Canada, I haven't seen any of these players play in a long time, nor do I know a lot of the meta at the moment. So it'll be an interesting cast and an interesting watch.
Yeah, certainly. I remember actually, I did manage a spook Luke by. We really realised Voina wasn't actually on Sentinel anymore.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed. I thought he was actually a very good player, and I never actually got to play with him or actually see his play, but from what I've heard, he's actually been a really good player in the Irish scene.
He's made his way over to Ferocity, who earlier in the week managed to defeat Geek Squad 2-0, so they got their campaign off to a good start, as was expected. And then there was Phelan as well, the number 2 Irish team right now, or in the previous tournaments anyway.
Touchy topic.
I mean, they came second at GamerCon. They came second.
Yeah, they actually did very well. I recall that now.
Second at GamerCon, second in the Piltover Cup. Certainly looking very strong. They also managed a 2-0 against Beats, so they're in a good spot. I have someone calling out poaching in my chat. I'll say nothing about it. I believe Aidan Boylan has a. Has quite a bit to say about the topic of poaching in general, but yeah, actually we were talking about it recently, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to load into this one. Like I said, we're kind of split. I mean, this is an interesting one. This is, I think, like I wanted to get this on my stream because I think it is the big fixture of the week between these two sides. Both will definitely have their eyes set on a top 4 finish at least, so they can get to the playoffs. and you always want to start off with the win. A win here against another top competitor would guarantee you. And I mean, certainly, it's like considering some of the competition they could come up against, there's same gaming as well. They have to worry about. There's there's who else? We've seen Geek Squad and Beats play, and then there's Hastily Made as well. That game is actually on later on. Yep, 9:45. I believe that our good friend Coxie may be covering it.
The one and only.
Aiden is talking about his grey jeans with an onion attached to his belt.
Okay, not sure about that one. Okay, so my client was actually bugged in the pick and ban phase, so I can actually see the summoner spells. Nothing
Yeah.
too surprising. I did recall watching the SKT series with KT that they actually took barrier on the AD carry, so I wasn't sure if that was a new thing, but
No.
other
Yeah.
AD carries opting to take heal, which is perfectly fine.
Going with the standard heal here as we are onto the Rift for the first game on my channel. Some would say the official stream. I'll go with the official stream as well because it's my tournament. I can do what I want. But here we are. It is going to be Sentinel Gaming on the blue side, Nuclear Storm Gaming on the red side. Two of the strong teams of the tournament, two of the heavyweights clashing in week one. It's going to be a great fixture here. And Dark Stelion, okay, he was going for a bit of a wander in that mid lane. Runs into a little bit of laser damage from the Victor, but I don't think he's going to be too stressed. If he wants to re-get, he's going to recall him. There's still a lot of time to clock, so he
Not going to
will
affect
be
him
fine.
too much.
Yeah. Looking at these starting items, Luke, is there anything that catches your attention? Anything particularly spicy on your end?
Nothing spicy in my eyes. Nothing too spicy.
Nothing spicy.
Dark Seal, maybe. Corrupting Potion is pretty good hand in hand with the Dark Seal because of the increased healing. So if he casts an end up does going behind the lane, I can see him stalling it out anyway.
Yeah, certainly. And he is Cassidon, so if he does need to play defensively, I mean, he has that melee range, I guess, but there's a shield to help him out a little bit against the Victor. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting matchup between these two mid laners specifically. Azrael, if he can show that he can still perform, I saw a few doubters in chat, so maybe Azrael can put those doubters to rest. Most notably, his old teammate Devils was partial to maybe just a little bit of not flame, but you know, calling Azrael's recent performance into question. But we'll see. Both these junglers going to be starting off on the bottom side of the map. Goose taking that blue buff. Raptor start for Dark Stelion, so he can get those early levels in, and we'll see how that affects anything. Both these junglers, okay, so comes to the top side of the map. Kled against Jarvan. How do you see that matchup going? Both these top laners have been strong in the meta at various points, and both teams hoping to make them work this time.
I have seen Jarvan being played a lot more frequently than the Kled being more team-based oriented, so for those engages later in the game, but also a very good 1v1 duelist too.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit of flexibility there when you can pull that out. We're seeing. I'm not used to spectating the games that having the new warded ping drop because I mean the sound for it is pretty abrupt, as I think a lot of people mentioned when it first came out.
Yeah, for that actually took me by surprise. Someone kept on spamming it in my game, and I had no idea what was going on. I wasn't sure if it was an enemy ping or our ping.
Yeah, I made the mistake of getting rid of my warning ping accidentally for the warded ping. So whenever I want to ping people to back off now, I just instinctively tell them it's warded, and they look at me like what's going on? Why would they ward the middle of my lane? But yeah, I mean, I suppose it might help out teams with a little bit of info. Actually, nice early wards coming down here from NSG towards that top side of the map. Goose playing well with regards to the information game here. My client has just frozen. I believe that's the spectator bug that consistently haunts us. Luke, how you doing?
Still good. Goose and Dark Stelion meeting eye to eye, just trading a bit of damage back and forth. Nothing too interesting. Vision game obviously strong, so Goose tracking Dark Stelion everywhere he goes for now. Anyway.
Okay, well we're seeing this behind time here, but that's actually yeah, it looks like nice trade coming in for Goose there. I'm just gonna speed back up so we can catch back up to live, but I mean certainly, I mean Goose. Nice early start from here on this Gragas. Able to get a bit of damage down. So it looks to be working out well for him. I paused again. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is Unfortunately, Luke, you're gonna have to fill us in, radio style, on what's going on.
So we got Darkstilian in the top lane, putting a bit of pressure onto this Kled, but nothing too serious. There's still a lot of vision around set up by Goose and Kled.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back, but I'm behind. So I'm probably a few seconds behind you. So I'll be living in the past. But yeah, definitely. I mean, once again, the vision control that NSG have managed to get themselves early does afford Rust the information, so we can play a little bit defensively. I guess Goose. Not getting the early pressure maybe that he wanted. You saw him actually behind Darkstilion in those early minions, but even so, I mean, his laner is not going to be too trouble here. This is nice to see from Goose. You know, Goose, commonly known as sort of a solo queue-esque jungler in some instances. He likes to be the one getting the kills, likes to be the one carrying the team, which can sometimes backfire, but this time really supporting his team out in these first 5 minutes with his pathing and the information that he can get.
Very true. Also bringing the pressure to Darkstilion, meeting him in his own jungle, making him more afraid to be anywhere.
Yeah, it's the Gragas. I'm not sure how well he can do in trades against this Mechai at the early levels, but certainly, I mean, in terms, he has the CC and a little bit of early damage as well to cause some issues if you can find the nice time. And we did see when he found that Mechai in that first venture into the Sentinel jungle here, but it's all about the ganks. We'll see when those ganks do happen. Both junglers on that bottom side of the map. Darkstilion now maybe looking to creep towards that bottom lane if he can possibly find a lane gank, although there's a Krugs are up, so he's probably just going to farm those, considering where the lane is
here we
at
go,
for
down
the
bottom
moment. Yeah, once again, I think you might be a little bit ahead of us. We'll
Quite
see
a bit of a difference. Didn't want to give spoilers.
no spoilers coming in. We'll see the action coming in just a second, by the looks of things. If you just pause your stream or pause your game for about 10 seconds, you might be able to get back.
I already have. I'm gonna hopefully catch
yeah, so actually here we are. The thing, Newt is gonna jump on in, but Goose is there. The perfect timing now. Domo has to try get away, but the body slam connects anyway. They're gonna jump right onto the Sivir. Spell shields the explosive charge. Has to stay back though. They're trying to turn this back around with Darkstilion in the fight here, but he can't catch anyone just yet. Goose flashing out of it. They're not really in range to get more damage down on Adzi because Domo was already forced so far back. Meanwhile, level 6 in that mid lane, Rengus using that Chaos Storm when he gets that ultimate first, but it's not enough to take out Azrael just yet. So no kills coming in despite action in both the mid and the bottom lane.
So Casson actually opting towards that corrupting potion after the Dark Seal, which is pretty common. Also, Victor backing early can't upgrade the Hex core item just yet, opting to that. Wand, sorry, it's my scoreboard is actually bugging out at me in the moment as well. I'm frozen.
Spectator client functioning at 10 out of 10 capacity right now. Jeez, it would Riot Games would be much appreciated if it was fixed because there seems to be issues most of the games we spectate, but we can work with it for now. Azrael, he's level 6 now, has that Rift Walk, so looking for maybe a few more aggressive trades up in the face, but has to worry about the damage that this Victor can do early on, especially if that death rate does connect. So far, we saw those ganks maybe trying to tip it in favor of one team at these early levels, but nothing breaking for them so far. It's only an Ocean Drake up on the map as well, so it doesn't really give them that option to play around the objective as well. Maybe teams look for Rift Herald. I mean, what do both these teams do to get themselves an early advantage?
I mean, I guess Ocean Drake is nothing to look over. I mean, it's good for sustain later in the game, and also good to stack up for the Elder Drake also later in the game. I mean, these two mid laners really want to get into that mid to late game. They're both scaling mid laners.
Yeah, get to that point and we'll see what they can do. Darkblood might be looking for the all-in here. Out comes Scarl, but there's the Cataclysm. Rust could jump over the wall though with the shotgun, but still Darkblood has the space to do some damage. Gonna flash forward under the tower. First blood. A solo kill onto Rust, and Sentinel are on the board.
So you're actually ahead of me now, but yeah.
If you press plus, you can catch up a bit quicker. That should help you. We're actually going to get another trade in here. Goose might be caught out. Explosive cast and body slam means he can get over the wall there. Right now at the 850 mark, if you want to get yourself back up to speed, Luke. But Definitely, I mean, Sentinel now, that's a nice solo kill for them in that top lane. Darkblah brought in as a late addition to this team, stepping up for them. The J4 taking control against Khaled here. Adzi now gonna trade back with a few concussive blow stacks on. Actually gonna go on in. Domo has the spell shield up though, so he can block a spell, but Adzi is just gonna auto attack away and keep on jumping. Heal for Domo might be enough, but Adzi can't follow up. One more auto attack will do it. They will lose default in the meantime, and now there's a lot of members of Sentinel here. Darkblah able to get a second onto Goose as well. Rust a little bit late to the party here, and Adzi thought he had the aggression coming in, but Sentinel can't respond, get 2 kills out of it. Now are 3-1 ahead.
So this is also looking like they're going to try push down the bottom tower as well.
Yeah, they have the Jarvan there, has the Demacian standard, so it can help them get in the auto attacks on the tower just a little bit quicker, but Rust happy to defend that 1 versus 2 for now. Clyde maybe threatening them a little bit under tower. So not able to get that just yet, but that's the breaking point that Sentinel might have wanted here, putting themselves about 1k gold ahead as we hit the 10-minute mark exactly, and this J4 looking pretty strong, especially in the 1v1 lane against the Kled. That's something that NSG will have to be concerned about.
So yeah, J4 also 2 kills up, but also substantial CS lead as well in that lane too.
Yeah, and the early items he's taken for himself. Has the Tiamat, has the Phage, so right now in a pretty good spot to get that Black Cleaver if he wants to rush it early on and just run away with it at that point. Things looking pretty good with the advantage he has, because Kled now missing out on the Tiamat himself if he wants to build it. Maybe looking to go maybe a little bit more defensively now. He's not had so much luck against Darkblah in this top side of the map. But NSG, not phased just yet. It's still early days, and they are going to play towards that top side here. Once again, Goose making sure they have the vision control around that Rift Herald area if they're planning to make a move for it. And they have Adzi ahead as well on kills in the bot lane, even if Domo has the CS lead, so certainly some space for them to do it. But Sentinel have to be happy coming in here. Azarul does spot Goose coming in for the gank and can play back as needed. Has enough mana to have several Rift Walks in the tank, so he is safe at this point, and Cassidy a much more difficult gank target if Goose does try to gank him.
So looking at the build path for Janna now, is it still an Ardent Rush meta at the moment? Or is that slightly altered?
I'm pretty sure it's an Ardent Rush. I don't think that people have been giving out about it. I don't think people have said, oh wow, this is really fixed Ardent Sensor. But I mean, it's still early days in the patch. I know that I'll have a few of the good players in my chat to point this out, but it looks like Sentinel going to be able to rotate bottom lane for that first tower, so once again, more gold up on the table for them. And close to 2.5k gold ahead now. They've suddenly managed to develop a nice lead for themselves. And
Yes.
Darkblah might be looking to make it even more here. Betrap on a rope is going to pull the Jarvan back in. Skarl is going to drop, actually. Darkblah has the ultimate if he wants to go back in, but not choosing to just yet. I'm not sure he knows where Goose is, so not really committing for that kill just yet.
So definitely Sentinel bossing this early game.
Yeah, they've got
Just
this.
still trying to catch up. I still find myself slightly behind.
Oh, that's I was thinking, if you hit plus, you can kind of just speed it up a little bit, and then I think.
So
it's
what is your
minus
clock at the moment?
Oh, it's down. It's 49, 50, 51, 52. That's we're doing the old timing the stream together thing. Is always good crack. Azrael 1v2 defending this bottom lane. Actually going to stop that explosive charge from getting a bit of damage down on the tower, but I mean the Cassidy has to sacrifice a lot of health for it. Sentinel though, they want to put their bot lane mid. The Chaos Storm is going to go down. Domo has to try to run away from this, really shutting down the potential engage coming out from that Sentinel duo lane that they were trying to get there. And Goose is now nearby as well, so it's a lot more risky if they want to go back in on that one. Happy to just clear the waves out though for the moment, but if Goose can stick to that mid lane, will slow them down. So Sentinel might not get as much out of that rotation mid lane as they wanted.
So with the bottom tower being down now completely, do you picture this bot lane going top and trying to take the tower and then possibly getting control of the Rift Herald? Or force mid tower?
Yeah, they've stuck Domo and Newt in here. They might be actually looking for the dive here. A lot of quick damage here. Stun going to come in as well with those concussive blows. Darkseelion tanking for as long as he can. The heal coming in as well, though. They've managed to keep the Gragas alive for a while, and Rengus might be able to trade this back. Newt left a little bit alone, but he has the flash. Darkseelion as well, trying to peel them away, and now Rengus might want to watch out. Doesn't have that much health left, but even so, always risky of that quick Victor Burst finishing a member off, so Sentinel going to play it safe, except for Darkseelion, who is sticking forward. Gravity Field is down as well. They might just have the damage. Domo's actually going to flash forward to finish that off. 2 more kills for Sentinel. They're 5-1 ahead, and they have all the time in the world to take down their second tower if they want.
Very well played, in my opinion, and absolutely bossing this early game. Sentinel, my boys, representing.
There it is. It's coming out. It's coming out. But I mean, definitely not looking to push down that mid tower yet. Maybe keeping an eye on those health bars. Does give Rust a bit of time as well to hammer away on that top side. But even so, Sentinel are the ones who once again come out the beneficiaries of that trade. 2 more kills, a little bit of extra money in the pocket. And we'll see what they can do with that for themselves. And as well, Domo picking up both of those kills that Sentinel just got there. Now puts the Sivir in a good spot. Once again, back on top in that AD carry matchup. And Sentinel now just making sure that they have control in as many places as possible here. Sticking Sivir back in the mid lane. So clearly focusing on this mid tower, which is not what you would have expected.
Definitely. Just noticing Janna picking up the Ardent Sensor straight away, so that rush is still in the meta at the moment.
Yep, item is strong, to say the least. They did change it, so I believe it doesn't scale as well on the most recent patch, but even so, it helps your AD carry a lot, and especially because Tristana can get so many auto attacks off, puts you in a good spot. Domo and Newt keep having these members come towards them, but managing to not get caught out here by Goose when he does venture towards that mid lane, or anyone else on the side of NSG. So Sentinel trying to play it proactively, but making sure they don't overstay their welcome there. However, a few members of NSG in this mid lane, they're actually going to look to push down this tower, likely trading it for this Ocean Drake.
Yeah, likely trading it indeed. Maybe we might see the Maokai ult now and it collapse completely onto this mid lane.
They've let the tower go down, so NSG...
So there it is, TP in early from Kassadin.
Yeah, it's actually cancelled. Yeah, okay, so maybe...
Sure about the communication there on Sentinel. Maybe they wanted to opt in for the fight, the Maokai ult, but it just never actually worked in the end.
I thought they might have been able to catch him out on the flank potentially from that position, but that was nowhere near the way that Sentinel, or NSG I should say, were walking, so Azrael will have to wait a while for that TP to come back up. Sentinel did get themselves a Drake, but have lost that mid tower, which it's, in terms of outer tower, is probably the most important, as it allows NSG a bit of more freedom on that map. Sentinel now, after hitting that early lead, have sort of stalled a little bit when it comes to pushing that into these early tower takes, and maybe giving themselves more of that space on the map and more early gold. Potentially calling into question this team and their early rotations here.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure if that was the greatest trade in the world, but definitely opens the map a lot more for NSG.
It does put them in a good spot. We'll see what they can do with that for the moment. Right now, they still have to watch out for that top tower. Azrael happy to stay there for the moment. Adzi is going to head on up, so he'll be clearing out the waves there. Sentinel sticking to that mid lane. The Victor zones are going to make that tough, and they always risk getting caught out by the Gragas CC. If they step too far towards that tower, there's always that explosive cask to put them in a much trickier position, especially because Domo doesn't have his flash, Newt doesn't have his flash. They are pretty much dead in the water if they get caught up by the Gragas ult, so likely just have to wait for that one for the moment. I didn't see what Drake was actually spawning next. It is a Cloud Drake, so once again, not too high priority there, but even so. Actually, we do see Sentinel there. They're rotating towards this top side.
Straight to the top side. So just a minute and a half left on that Rift Herald. Hopefully opting to move towards that straight after this tower. NSG seems to be running straight down mid lane though. They don't give a rat's.
Yeah, and they've a lot of time to do this if they want. Azrael will be there in just a second, but maybe missing their AD carry means they can't commit to that one too much. Either way, they will back off after chipping it down just a little bit. Rift Herald, though, isn't an option. Or hasn't been the option selected, I should say, by Sentinel here, although they do have control of that area if they do choose to commit for it. They're actually going to start it up. They should be able to finish this one off before time's out. Once again, I have frozen. Thank you, Spectator Client, for slowing me down by an extra few seconds.
Goose does have vision on this objective, so if he wants to opt in, dive in, he can.
Certainly, and he's just got his flash back up as well, so it's a little bit safer if he does want to try and maybe slide over for the steal. We all know how Goose likes to make the big plays, but okay, that one just popped really fast right at the end there. No time for him to go in, and maybe not worth it, even if he did risk dying in response, and his team probably not getting the buff, but that will go over to Sentinel. So once again, gives them a little bit more of that tower push pressure, and considering the lead Darkblatt has in that side lane, well, I suppose he doesn't have the buff, so he might not be able to use it himself, but certainly he can divert the attention of NSG enough to split them and maybe open up the chance for them to use that Rift Herald to take down some towers.
Certainly enough pressure on the map anyway to stretch this NSG team.
Most definitely. Baron. Okay, Baron has just spawned. If either team really wants to go for that, I doubt that's too much in the sights of them right now. Even with the lead, Sentinel has risky call in any case, unless they can catch NSG out of position. But once it seems to revert to the stalemate almost. Now Sentinel have taken down those two side lane towers. Their eyes might be set on that mid outer, which has been defended heavily by NSG for the first 20 minutes of this game. But now with the opportunity for that 1-3-1 with teleports up on Darkblatt and Azrael could potentially open up a few more options here for Sentinel. They're at a point where they can use those summoner spells to maybe the intended effect when selected here.
Oh, sorry, maybe there's a time discrepancy, but I just noticed that
I think I'm a couple of minutes behind, and I think I saw the Rift Herald not coming out there, so
not being spawned. Not great positioning by Darkstelion there. Tristana W in interrupting straight away. So Rift Herald rather being useless.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to use that one. They still might be able to get a bit of damage down on this tower, but Domo has that short auto attack range. They're actually going to pop the Nature's Grasp under the tower. We'll give them the space at the very least here, but that's going to time out. NSG can step back forward here. Sentinel once again backing off, just struggling to finish this one off, but they're close at this point. Just a couple more minutes at that tower. They might be able to make it work.
Just keeping this relentless pressure with the Sivir pushing the minion wave on there, with the sidelines pushing.
Definitely, and they should have it now. They are able to get the last few auto attacks down, and now looking for the fight straight after. Glacial Fissure has started off. The Kled drop low, able to hop off Skarl, has to flash out of the Cataclysm as well. Newt, want to watch the health bar, will actually be taken out by Adzi, and NSG might just be able to turn this, but Sentinel a little bit too far away for them to catch up with. Nice job by NSG turning that fight around, even though they lost the tower.
Very nice indeed to actually grab something back from that. Just looking at the front line of Sentinel at the moment, J4 and Maokai opting towards those Merc Treads to lower that CC count on the side of NSG.
Yeah, it does allow them to have a bit more of an impact in those front lines, but that time around just not able to lock up the necessary targets here. With a lot of focus on that Kled, who was able to get away all the same, and meanwhile NSG happy to focus up the Braum in the front and take him down. Rotating to that Drake, now rotating to bottom tower. This could turn into a pretty big win here, but Darkblatt wants to re-engage right onto Adzi here. Rust now, he's trying to disengage with his team, but he'll be focused up at the front. Once again, can hop off Skarl, but no flash for you this time, my friend. Drops to Darkstelion, and now Rengus is the next focus. Nature's Grasp not going to connect. The heal to speed him up as well, but Domo going to flash on forward. He wants Adzi, but the rocket jump is there. So the Tristana can make it away safely. Azrael has a bunch of rift walks left, so he can catch up if he wants, but has to go under the tower. Wants to finish this one off. Doesn't have the burst damage to drop Rengus there. Can back off of that one. That was a close call there. Sentinel able to pick up one for themselves. Might be able to push down a tower as well. Oh, explosive cast coming out immediately from Goose to the side, but that's not going to slow him down enough. Only just wipes out the minion wave, and even then there were still a few standing, so they can take out that tower. And now they want the Gragas as well. Has to flash out of the Cataclysm here. No body slam, I should say. And Domo now on a killing spree. 3, 1, and 2. And Sentinel once again Stalled for a while, but they are back to rolling over NSG.
So, looking very good for Sentinel in game one, of course. Maybe opting to move towards this Baron right now. Definitely set up the vision with Gragas being down.
They'll have control over that pit, at least for the moment. Health bars are not too bad as well, so they can keep a couple of members there and challenge NSG if they want to get counter vision when the respawns come in. But certainly, that's another nice step up in gold for Sentinel here. 5.5k in their favour once again, and the Sivir is now in a spot where she can do a lot of damage. Azrael as well, also causing a few issues here, but they want to see if they can shut him down now. Adzi going to jump on in and has Default there. The Kassadin can run away for as long as possible, but Adzi and Default are relentless. Adzi himself on a killing spree now, has his team's 3 kills, and certainly set to be the one thorn in the side of Sentinel.
Definitely the one to protect in that composition anyway.
Yeah, they have the Janna as well to do so, so it can help out. Gragas as well can provide a good bit of peel with all the CC he possesses. Newton Darkstelion able to step up towards that tower and make it difficult for Azzi to really get in there. And Azzi wants to watch out for these Sivir auto attacks. A lot of damage there onto the Tristana. And now they can just focus up Goose with Azzi nowhere near able to get to this one. They knock Domo away, but not to really pick him off. And the Monsoon has to come in to top up Azzi's health bar once again. NSG can keep the push going here, but now down 2 ultimates. If a fight breaks out in the near future, they might find themselves in a bit of trouble here. But they can siege down this tower. They should be able to get it. Maokai's pretty intimidating presence. They have to watch out for Darkstelion potentially engaging.
But with no mana at the moment, I'm sure they notice that and they can move in with any pressure they have. Oh, they're just going to back up for the moment now.
Yeah, thinking potentially it's a bit risky in that scenario, but they got a good bit of damage down on the tower. The Tristana pick hasn't really been able to burn through them, but still 3-0-0. Adzi certainly in a spot where he can do some damage, and there's quite a bit of standing gold potentially in the near future for NSG here, with both those side lane towers already very low, if they can stick their members to them. Rust right now, he's going to hang out in the bottom side of the map and try to get that wave towards the tower. A couple more auto attacks from this Kled should be enough to finish it off. Once again, NSG, they take these big fight losses and drop down a few K gold behind, but aside from that, they've kept it pretty clean in terms of defensively rotating here and making sure they can get as much as possible, even playing with a deficit. So props to them, just stepping up their macro play a little bit then from when we last saw them.
So NSG just with a lot of vision control around this Mountain Drake that's coming up now shortly, just over a minute and a half. But probably looking to defend and control the vision around Baron is probably more important at this stage of the game.
Actually, you can see on the top lane once again, Azrael was the one pushing the wave, and Adzi and Default trying to make the pick onto him, but I think Azrael just a little bit more wary about being caught out there by those 2 members of NSG, but they're sticking to that top side, trying to get the wave to the tower, and they might have it there before Domo gets close by, but a lot of members of Sentinel collapsing, so NSG can't play this as aggressively as they would like. Sentinel using their advantage to keep control of the top side of the map and prevent NSG from getting even more in that area. So right about now, the next Drake is going to be spawning as well in about 30 seconds, and once again, didn't check which one this was. It's a Mountain Drake, so a little bit more meaningful than the 2 Drakes that have already been spawned here. Either team that can pick this up is actually in a good spot, because Sentinel have struggled when they've been able to get to these towers to really siege away. Their short ranges have made it difficult, but now they're going to get the Baron for themselves by the looks of things. They have the TP coming in as well from the J4, and NSG nowhere near in a position to respond. They can get a couple of members close to the pit, but they don't know this is going down. Sentinel able to snatch this one away. pretty cleanly. You can see NSG maybe have an inkling that this is being done, but they'll be too late to the party here. And Azrael might be looking to turn this into a couple of picks as well. Rengus and Goose have to make tracks now, but Sentinel chasing very fast. Flash forced away from this Victor. Goose has his flash as well if he wants to make it away, but he is not so lucky. The Rift Wall comes back in from Azrael to finish that Gragas off, and now Sentinel, Baron buff empowering the minions, happy to push down this mid lane, taking another big coup and ready to take a bigger lead in this game.
So very, very confident plays coming out from Sentinel. Sentinel spotting Gragas actually on that Drake side Rift Scuttler. So they had the vision, they had the information, they knew that Gragas wasn't going to be a contestant.
Oh, fight breaking out here. Quick kill coming in onto Rengus, and Rust has to try and make it away to the tower once again. Still has Kled to back him out, but Sentinel taking the inhibitor, taking another kill for themselves. They can rotate back for this Drake if they want, and again, it's just these big fights working at these one big plays that Sentinel have been able to make each and every time to give them more and more of a significant lead here. Now finding themselves with an open inhib in the mid lane, close to 8,000 gold ahead, a Mountain Drake to boot, and things looking really good for Sentinel here in game one.
Really, really good. Very good shot calling. Very, very confident to call that straight away as soon as they saw the Gragas on the bot side of the map. They knew they had the ability to take it. They could burst it down fast enough before Gragas could even contest.
Yeah, it was quickly done, and there was no time for Goose to try and make the hashtag Irish LoL Championship big play. I don't know what abbreviation I'd use for that. It's like, I don't know, it's a bit long. I know some people have been using D series, which is
Series.
yeah, or as Coxie likes to call it, D League. Azrael taking a bit of damage there, but that explosive charge won't be enough to finish him off. However, NSG may have gotten enough time on this top side of the map to get the few autos on that tower that they need, but Sentinel once again collapsing from the river makes it dangerous for them to push forward. They have to back off. Next few minutes will all be about the defensive play from NSG once again, as Sentinel use that new Baron buff and new Mountain Drake to try get a few more towers for themselves. Just a reminder as well. I can see Devil saying you're welcome in chat, because I believe he was the one who came up with the name D series. So there's that for it. But I mean, okay, so if you're NSG at this point, Luke, what do you do to get yourselves back into this? Because things look pretty tough for them right now. They haven't really been able to find too many fights for themselves.
I mean, from my limited gold knowledge, I'm not exactly sure.
Ah, come on. Everyone's got something to say. I mean, if you and the legendary Sentinel Div 3 team found themselves in this situation, what would they do to rectify it?
So me and SEN 9 minutes.
SEN 9.
Probably just want to wave clear as much as we can. Hopefully pick off one member of Sentinel. So stop the pushing power. But I mean, there's not much they can do. They're so dominant right now, and something like the Maokai ult is just so zonal that they can push any of the team off the towers and start breaking the base.
Yeah, it is tough. I think the one thing that can help them out a little bit in this scenario is the fact that they have nice ways to clear the waves. I mean, Tristana is getting a bit of that extra auto attack range at this point in the game, and actually getting a bit of extra damage here into Dark Stelion. This Maokai has to watch out. Goose gonna go over the wall. They try to finish the kill off. They can't get him just yet. Newt might be the one caught out, but they're not focusing. They want Domo at the back of the fight instead, and they get the shutdown there as well. NSG able to take one in defense of their base and looking for even more here. Newt gonna be focused, but Dark Blah is ready to join the fight. Big Cataclysm. They shut down Adzi, the big player on NSG, looking for Goose right afterwards as well, trying to body slam his way out, finds himself a Newt as he makes his escape, but Azrael is there once again to respond. 2 for 2 in that fight, both AD carries down, but Sentinel still have the Jarvan, still have the Kassadin up. They want to keep this push going with Adzi off the map.
So that's exactly what they needed, to isolate Newt. I mean, they got the kill, but then they extended out with no vision and then ran into the J4. So they could have got a lot more off that, pushed them back, probably got some more gold back in their pockets, but with Adzi going down, there's not much they can do now.
Yeah, 10 seconds left on that respawn timer. Sentinel, though, not really able to take anything extra off of that. They stuck around at the base for a little while, but not for long enough to really cause Too much damage to those towers in the bottom side. And the Baron buff as well. If it hasn't timed out, it's pretty close. Yeah, you can see Azrael there does no longer have the Baron buff for himself. So, missing out on that opportunity. Next one spawning in just under 2 minutes. Maybe looking to pick that one up for themselves. They have a lot more control over the map than they did when they took the previous Baron. Azrael, he might be thinking of making a pick. Actually going to flash forward. That burst damage is there. Rengus using both summoners, and that might not be enough to get away, because Azrael is relentless. Down goes the victor here. He knows exactly what he can do on this Castellan at this point. Now NSG have to make the defense a man down as this inhibitor respawns. They should just leave this here, unless they want to fight 4v5. Sentinel once again able to open up the base here. Azzy trying to get the poke down with the auto attacks, but able to chunk at Azrael a bit, but they just respawn immediately. Has to jump away, but Dark Stelion follows with the twisted advance. And once again, all this CC onto Adzi. The heals are not enough. Both him and Default are going to go down, and that looks like it might just be it. Goose drops as well. Rust, the last one left alive, and that did not last long. Double kill for Dark Stelion.
Looks like it might just be it.
Yep, no one left to defend here, and minions on those Nexus towers. Sentinel coming out with a strong Game 1 performance there against this new NSG team, and all the pickups they make really working out for them. NSG once again caught behind. Sentinel looking very strong in Game 1. GG.
Very well played indeed. With many members of Sentinel side with a lot of kills in with all the team members, whereas on NSG, only Tristana holding those kills, only being the powerhouse in their team.
Yeah, it was Sentinel just able to, I think Darkblood picking himself up that individual advantage was good, and then from that point they made a couple of nice early moves. They found themselves the early skirmishes to just get them in a good spot, and NSG were solid for the most part in defense, but then Sentinel would find another way to get themselves a big advantage, and as a result managed to just take control of the game step by step until there was no real response for NSG.
That's true. Sentinel seemed to capitalize on everything. Straight from the get-go, the communication was very good. Darkblood getting that early advantage with the 1v1 kill, then communicating with the team to teleport down the bot lane, picking up a second kill, making a very dominant lane. Then Sentinel actually picking up the Rift Herald, and then eventually picking up that early Baron with great shot calling. So, very well played by Sentinel in Game 1 anyway.
Yeah, certainly. We are going to cut to a short break once again as we get ready for the second game of this series. So stick around and we shall have the next lobby set up for you in just a few.
There's a fire that burns inside. It's an instinct that never lies. The target's tattooed between our eyes. Stand and fight under the lights on the higher stage. A part of your life they can't take away. Just like the blood running through your veins. Everyone's watching through your eyes. There's only two options, win or die. Win or die. Win or die. It went from a spark to an open flame. Now destiny's calling out your name. So reply, so reply. There's a power that's underneath, and you can't see it till you believe. On the edge of infinity. Feel the rush under the lights on the higher stage. A part of your life they can't take away. Just like the blood running through your veins. Breathe it in now, then breathe it out. Let the air flow over me. Up high, can you tell me what you see? This life isn't more than just a dream. Look at me now, then look away. Can you tell me what to do? Your eyes, they no longer speak for you. Inside, tell me where you hide the truth. Inside, tell me where you hide the truth. If you want me to stay, I need you to know
Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back for the second game of this best of two series between NSG and Sentinel. Sentinel taking game one, looking to go back to make this a 2-0 here. NSG hoping to tie this up at 1 apiece in this best of two here. Once again, bans coming in. I am alongside Witzel, ready for the second game of the series. Witzel pretty happy with that Sentinel win in game one.
Happy out.
Yeah,
Running alongside with my prediction 2-0 to Sentinel, so
yeah.
hopefully we pull through.
I suppose. So bans coming in here once again. Shen is he? I said Shed Azarol was banned, which I mean it kind of makes sense considering how often Azarol does like to play Azir. But same first few bans coming in for NSG here, so not changing it up just yet. Sentinel as well will stick with the same, so maybe looking for different picks. Instantly first picking that Maokai, getting it for themselves. Darkstelion had a decent performance on it last time, but Darkblad going right back to that Jarvan, and I mean, talk about big players for Sentinel in that last game. Darkblad was very good on that J4.
So very comfortable on that J4 that actually took that early lead and ended up resulting in winning the first game. Maokai also flexing that pick again, same again for the Jarvan, so it could not be in the top lane, might be in the jungle, we'll see.
Yeah, certainly. It does give them that early just power in terms of where they put that pick, but Sentinel making sure they get the Tristana this time around. Response might be the Xayah here from Adzi, and Adzi was the star performer from NSG in that last game, carrying them through a lot of that, but as soon as he was caught out in a lot of those situations, very forward as the classic Adzi may have been previously. But this time the Xayah does give him maybe once again that defensive option with the Featherstorm.
So much more safer pick with the J4 jumping straight on top of him if she just ults straight out of that.
I don't know if that's a Heimerdinger or not. Hang on, I have to. Let me message Goose here.
That would be very interesting.
Placeholder? Because, I mean...
Return of Donger? Dinger?
Oh, it's Rakan. Alright, so... Zyrakan. Oh, they get the couple bottling together. As in default, getting romantic here in this one. But, once again, the response is going to... Or the Janna's going to be paired with the Tristana, so... Sentinel happy to get that specific bot lane combo for themselves. And last game, Tristana Janna actually worked out pretty nicely. Could have done better as well if the front line of Sentinel wasn't so fed and able to just blow Tristana up. So
that is very true. I do like the Xayah and Rakan bot lane. Rakan offering a lot of very early pressure, especially that level 2 power spike with the W and the Q. Or sorry, the W and the E being Rakan Wing straight in and then jumping out with a Z, taking no actual return damage.
yes, certainly it does allow him to just be a big playmaker, like you said, in the laning phase. So can make that work. This time, NSG's response will be to ban that Kassadin, so not wanting Azrael on that. The Cho'Gath's going to be banned as well. Maybe fearing that it's picked up straight away with a few of the other picks off the table already. Once again, Syndra and Ori, two big control mages, are going to be taken away from Rengus. His Victor last time, there was some things he was doing well, but didn't really have too much of an impact. I think that Sentinel were a bit too far ahead. Ivern, though, okay, that's
That's a pick I haven't seen in a very long time, actually, and I'm not sure if it's still actually good. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they can protect Tristana pretty heavily. There's a lot of buffs coming in for Trist in this case. They got the Janna and the Ivern, so shields, protects, boosts. A lot for Domo in this game to help him out here. I doubt Azrael will also be playing one, considering Azrael, I imagine he detests those kind of support your AD carry champions, but the response will be Gragas and Jace. Okay, so Jace coming in to the mid lane by the looks of things for Rengus here. That's a blind pick Jace as well, so I wonder what Azrael has to respond to this. What do you think could be good into that Jace in the mid lane?
That is very interesting. I'm not quite sure just yet. Let's see. So Malzahar being hovered, locked in.
Yeah.
So, the remake because of the Rakan. But that's very interesting then. Jace with all those lethality buffs, not as broken as it was, I hear, but still a very big impact.
Yep, certainly. He's definitely a playable champion, at the very least. Once again, apologies for the client bug that I'm just experiencing. That is not two adsies on the screen. NSG maybe could have done with two Azzies last game as opposed to just one, considering how well the one did on his own. But
Considering how much how much gold was stacked on one of the Yahtzees.
yeah, exactly. If you had two of those, then maybe could have helped a little bit more. But definitely, I mean, this time let's go and begin on the physical damage. But I suppose they have the Maokai Gragas, so they've got the beefy front line for themselves. Goose hoping to maybe have a bit of better performance. You could see he was good at getting that early vision down for his team, but I think his impact fell off a little bit as the game goes on. Darkstelion as well. Neither jungler had a star performance that game. I think both kind of supported their team solidly, but Goose may be looking to step up a little bit more, considering some of the big carry performances that we see from time to time on his end.
Yes, that is true. I feel like Goose likes to take the game to you. He'll always get in your face, get in your jungle, put down the early vision, likes to dominate that early game.
Yeah, definitely. And last time, not able to do as much of it this time around. So, Elliot would like to point out, and I'll read it out live on stream, that he has the best KDA so far in the tournament. So yeah, that's a shout. He doesn't have the least deaths though. That's I believe. Well, it was Wings, and now I think it's also Darkstelion and Darkbla as well, who didn't die in that last game at all. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll just come back to we have the well, first of all we have the Ivern versus the Maokai, which is obviously a nice thematic matchup. We have Angry Tree versus Happy Tree, but I mean at the same time, Tristana being that big hyper carry, taking a lot of that late game damage, it'll be tough. I think it'll be tough for NSG to maybe execute against that, and especially because like even J4 can maybe lock up that front line with this Cataclysm to give Trist the space. They have the Malzahar ultimate as well. A lot of potential protection coming in here for Domo when it gets to those latter stages, which might be tough for NSG to play against.
That is true. Like if Domo can replicate exactly what Adzi did, get that powerful in the game again in this composition, is definitely going to be a lot more beefier and stronger with all those shields.
Yes, certainly, and I think that's what you want. Your AD carry can just play or stay as in the fight for as long as possible. You're going to get a lot of damage out, especially from Tristana. So NSG, I mean, in response, like we talked about the late game and how that could be an issue for NSG. So is it a case of they have to take control early to mid game? Is that where their comp is hoping to excel?
I guess if NSG don't at least slow down Sentinel or at least take an early lead, they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble very quickly.
Yeah, it could be an issue for them.
I do favor this Rakan bot lane winning this early game, but eventually tipping over to this Tristana. I feel like the junglers will have a great influence on how this laning phase will go, who will get first tower, opening up the map, potentially lane swapping up to the top lane, but we'll see how it goes. Who do you think actually wins this top lane matchup between J4 and Maokai? Is that more of a J4 winning lane, or is that Maokai just sitting back and farming and not taking any damage?
See, I think I like Jarvan. Okay, I'll start it off with that. I think he's a champion who his tankiness scales surprisingly well, but also he has a lot of early pressure, early got both kill potential, and he can keep himself in lane with trading for quite a while. So, and Darkblast showed that he can really make that champion work for him. So, looking for something like that, Maokai definitely has the tools to do a bit of damage, but will be focusing more towards that late game where he is a bit tankier, sustain scales with his health as well, obviously, so he can just be a real nuisance in those fights. And Trouble Try gets Tristana there. Darkbla certainly has the space to take over the lane early on, and once again put him in a spot where he's a big player coming into that mid game, which could be what Sentinel needs if they're holding out for that late game Tristana. If they have a J4 who's packing quite a bit of damage, combined with that Malzahar as well, who can make picks pretty nicely, it certainly gives them space to work with at a time when their comp might not be at its highest peak in terms of power. It can still do quite a bit of work, and Darkblast showed he was strong last game. So
very much indeed. I also feel don't believe I can quite see because my client's slightly bugged, but Malzahar Summoner, is that teleport?
Ooh, actually might be. Yeah, I think I like I said, my client's bugged as well, so it's
So just interesting to looking at the summoners in the mid lane. So Jace opting to take the ignite, obviously going for that all-in kill pressure, but removing cleanse. Can you cleanse the Malzahar ult anymore?
you can't. I don't think you could ever cleanse the bounds. I don't think you can cleanse suppresses. I don't think
Oh,
you've
okay.
ever been able to. I think the only thing that removes suppress is QSS.
So I
Uh,
feel like with Malzahar being immobile, if they do manage to get the flash out, if Goose does apply pressure around this mid lane, they manage to get the spell shield down with a Jace Q. Malzahar is very immobile, so if Jace can jump on with a Gragas, I mean, if they put a lot of focus into mid lane, I feel like Azrael's going to have a tough time in there.
yeah, certainly. Azrael has kind of that passive pushing power that the Malzahar can make happen if he wants. Also, big pick potential as well. The silence could be a nuisance for Rengus to play around, but certainly ganks coming in, and that makes things a bit trickier for Azrael to execute with that one defensive summoner spell. So, certainly options there once again for Goose if he wants to get aggressive early game. Couldn't really find the time to last time around. Now he's playing the Gragas into the Ivern. Last game it was against that Maokai, who was more of a scaler, but this time you might have to watch out for some potential Ivern trickery with the buffs. I'm not sure how the Gragas will do so. I think Gragas has a bit more in terms of what he can do with ganking in those early stages, so certainly, once again, eyes on Goose, as is so often the case in the Irish scene, for him to step it up here. And if he can, maybe that's the key to for NSG success in this game. If he can get his
Yeah,
team into a good early spot.
I think so too. The key matchup being the junglers in this game. If Goose or Ivern can dictate, if Ivern manages to take away some camps, deny some XP away from Goose, that will really dictate Goose not being able to gank, pushing him back further into the late game. But I do feel that if Sentinel's composition does go behind, they can find themselves being outscaled very fast and actually end up losing this game in the long term.
Yeah, certainly. Here we are onto the Rift. Sorry, I just had to sort something out there on the side. But game 2 of this series, NSG versus Sentinel here in week 1 of the Irish League of Legends Championship. Sentinel 1-0 up in this best of 2, hoping to start off their campaign with a clean 2-0 here. But NSG really needing this. If they were to go 0-1 down, that's not the start this team would want. And it's been a while since they've taken a win over Sentinel here, so certainly looking to make up for the mistakes of old as much as possible. Defensive level 1 star. Luke, is this what you would expect with both of these sides?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they could get some information on where the Ivern is starting and what he's doing, so that Goose can react to getting to his buffs. I know Ivern's not as strong as he used to be by invading, but some information where he would be nice.
Yeah, you can see Darkstelion hanging around in that mid lane. So they don't really know where he is at all. They haven't managed to see him there. And he can probably just back off and sneak into whatever side of the jungle he wishes to start on. As he a default, gonna go in with the battle dance, but not going to land it onto Newt there. They'll get a bit of damage on the Janna and the Tristana, but nothing really meaningful there. Default, maybe sticking around, hoping he can wait for that Rakan E to come back up. Or the W. It's W is the battle dance, isn't it? I always get
Correct.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's a W. I always get the two dashes mixed up. I'm never sure. I know the Q is the thing he throws out and gets the heal back, and the his ult is the quickness, obviously. So not able to catch him out there. Nice idea by that NSG bot lane. Maybe alluding to the advantage that they will have in this matchup. Once again, default looking to get aggressive here, getting a bit of damage.
This is a very
now.
early pressure.
Yeah, and Doma has to watch out.
Going very low.
Newt actually using the shield there. Forced at the exhaust of that Janna as well. Adzi and Default coming to play here in this bottom lane early on.
So yeah, that early pressure that I was talking about, that Zyricon really does bring. Although it will tip in favor to Tristana later in the game, if Adzi and Default do manage to make the most of this at the moment, they can actually subside this lane and win it for themselves.
Yes, certainly. And able to push in the Tristana at this early stage is good, because Tristana always tricky for you to maintain that standard CSing pattern under the tower because of the passive on
The E,
yeah,
correct. Not so easy to CS under that tower. So yet again, is this Rakan, Janna both being...
Oh,
Oh,
Darkstelion in a lot of trouble there. Has to flash away from that one. NSG going to looks like they might be able to deny that blue buff as well. Rengus looking for the early trade, not going to use the ignite there onto Azrael Doso. Not committing for the kill. Look at the early aggression coming out though. In the mid lane, in the jungle, in the bottom lane. NSG just fighting back right here at the start of game 2.
yeah, so this is the early pressure that we wanted to see from Goose, you know, getting in the face with Darkstelion, letting
Oh,
him know
there's the
that-
ignite! And he gets the shock blast. Azrael trying to use the pots, but he's not going to live. Rengus
Not
says,
enough.
this is my lane. First blood over to NSG.
So that's that immobility coming into play, being unable to avoid all those shock blasts, and Jace jumping on to Malzahar. TP being blown as well here.
Yeah, already being used by Azrael to get back to lane, but look, Goose is waiting in the bush. The flash is still there for the Malzahar, but he could blow this with that lane pushing in. This might be set up perfectly. Rengus wants to get aggressive, pops the Malzahar passive. Goose going to body slam in. He has to flash away from this one, but there is no escape, and he can't trade the kill back. The minion damage. Oh, the minion damage. He has got to get the one back onto Rengus right at the end there. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Default once again trying to get aggressive, but has to watch out of the damage coming out from Domo there. Both supports are going to be chunked out. Have the pause to get back, but in the mid lane, Azrael was able to trade that back 1-for-1.
So a lot of interesting things going on this early in the game. A lot of action all over the map. Very good pressure by Goose. You know, he did get into the face of Ivern, managing to get that pressure. So taking that kill, second kill again in the mid lane, putting Azrael very far behind in this matchup.
Yeah, he's got one back for himself, but even so, I mean, Rengus is certainly the one who's sitting on top in this lane right now. Darkstelion, he's looking to get a couple of invades of his own, but he's going to find himself running into a couple of members of NSG. This Ivern is so low, and there's no flash there. Try to get to the blast code, not able to get over the wall. Oh, the blast code was popped early, and as a result, Rengus finds his third kill of the game just 5 minutes in. NSG's mid laner off to a great start.
This is a very I'm not happy to say it, but very bad start for Sentinel. I mean, not very sure what was the game plan was going in here. I mean, if we just held off, farmed up, got into this mid game where they'd be more comfortable shielding this Shisana.
Oh, what?
Kill.
Okay, that's quick.
Damage.
That is burst damage there. Rengus slays him. I don't think it's what I mean.
Jace 4-1 now, which is a huge factor. That's already in the game. Only 5 minutes.
Wow. Okay, Rengus is stepping up here. 4 kills for him, and we're not even at 6 minutes yet. He has completely made the mid lane his, and this Jace is ready to take control of not only the early game, but the mid game as well. And it's a big boon for NSG here. Once again, looking for more aggression in the bottom lane. Domo going to take a few chunks out here. Not able to trade too much back onto Adzi here. NSG happy to once again play as aggressively as they want in this bot lane. Haven't been rewarded with a kill yet, but Adzi maintaining a slight CS advantage.
Yeah, all this pressure is good enough as well. It supplies pressure so that Goose can actually invade the enemy jungle anytime he wants to if he's down on this side.
Yeah, certainly. Goose has been going back to farming there. We saw him show up in that mid lane for that early gank. Oh, Rengus once again going on in, but Darkstelion is there to counteract it this time around and has Daisy out, so the peel should come in. Shock Blast not able to make its way to the low Malzahar, but Rengus can escape even without his flash available.
Rengus Khan just sounds like Genghis Khan.
Yeah, I think that's what it's based off of. I know that the people in the chat who know him will be aware of that. Goose maybe looking to sneak in and try to get himself a kill, but Sentinel already close enough to that tower that they should be fine for the moment. However, they have already lost so much in this mid lane early on. Rengus has those 4 kills and close to a 20 CS lead, over a 20 CS lead, I should say, for himself. Top lane we've ignored for the most part. Once again, Dark Black getting himself a CS lead, but no kills coming in for him like the previous game.
He's actually been chunked out by this Maokai, actually trading inefficiently, and he's also has a CS advantage though to himself, which is beneficial. Something that I want to mention earlier that did get cut off is Rakan and Janna both being Ardent Center champions. Do you think that the rush will come out yet again from both these champs?
I'd say it has to. The item's just so strong, man. I mean, you kind of there has been that alternate Rakan build path, which I have actually now forgotten. But great info coming in there. But I mean, it's still something you can definitely take in that bottom lane, and it'll help out the Xayah at this point, especially when you kind of need that early trading potential. It can work out pretty nicely for them. And Adzi in default have been playing aggro in the bot lane. Both AD carries coming back with BF swords, so certainly packing a bit of damage, a little bit of attack speed there as well for Domo, so he'll be looking to stack up that explosive shot. But Sentinel fighting from behind now, close to 1k gold down. NSG looking like a completely different team in this early stage of Game 2.
Definitely what Rengar is taking a huge step up this game, taking control of the entire game. This Jace is going to be a huge problem right throughout the mid game. Even if he doesn't get any more fed than he is already, he's already just a huge problem for this Sentinel team.
Yeah, and he's already got himself that Youmuu's Ghost Blade. You see, with those two lethality items being strong, you can go with the Ghost Blade, you can go with the Dusk Blade, whichever blade you prefer, but in that mid lane, I mean, you have that extra move speed if you want to go make roaming plays, so maybe that's what NSG are trying to do here.
I mean, it does make sense with the Yuma's active, getting that movement speed onto the mobile Malzahar. I mean, just taking complete advantage of this.
Certainly can just close down the space, although he hasn't really had too much issue closing down the space already this game. He has his own flashback up as well now, so can stick to Malz even more tightly if he so wishes. Has to do a bit of clearing the wards here around the bottom side jungle with those two control wards for Sentinel, spotting him as he makes his way down the river here, but certainly he has a lot of room to work with on this map, just considering how strong he is at this early stage. And
so Goose like actually walking into this bot lane now, eyeing up to maybe a potential lane gank on this bot lane?
Might be able to catch them unawares, but both level 6s for Domo and Newt here.
Yeah, instantly the rocket jump.
Oh, that's a cataclysm in the top lane here. Going to be responded to on the Nature's Grasp. Rust, though, sticking well through this trade. Darkblood having to flash away. He wants to go back in because Darkstelion is there, and Rust now has to escape. Root Collar will connect. Darkstelion gets another kill for Sentinel. Meanwhile, the dive coming in that bottom lane under the tower, trying to stick to Domo here. They are behind the tower now. Featherstorm comes down as well, but NSG might have whiffed this engage a little bit. Goose trying to waddle away, drops the tower aggro, but Domo going to jump on in, finds himself right in the battle dance though, and Adzi finishes that one off with a blade collar. Oh, Domo thought he could turn that one around, but NSG able to stick to their guns. However, Azrael is roaming down, trying to finish that one off with the gate, but not catching him out just yet. Now Newt all alone under this tower. Will they continue the dive? 4 members of NSG say yes. Teleport is coming down, but Newt is already dead. They have Rengus on the side. He has to flash away from this one, but he's alive once again. Darkblood now coming from the top lane, trying to have an impact here. Rust has joined him as well, and now he might just be playing Peel for the low health bars on his team, but Darkblood, he's chasing down the kill. He wants it. Flash comes out from Azrael. They do get default there. Now looking for Rust as well. Rust might be trying to get one before he inevitably falls, but he cannot get to Azrael. Double kill for this J4. Hectic trade, but the tower goes down in the meantime, so definitely the win going over to NSG.
So where have we seen this play before? Jarvan getting the solo kill, well, not solo kill this time in the top lane, but instantly teleporting down and picking up another kill for himself.
Yeah, has himself 2 there, which is once again puts him in that nice spot that he might have been missing out from the early stages of this game. Sentinel going to turn to this Cloud Drake, and now they have a little bit more to fight with because they have that clear advantage on that top side. Goose maybe thinking he could snatch that one away with the barrel, but not able to get close enough there. However, NSG still have that goal lead, about 1.5k in their favour with that first tower, and now they're sending Azzy to that top side. They want to turn that into a second one as quickly as they can get it.
Yeah, so I mean, Sentinel not back in the game just yet, but definitely making plays of their own and reacting to this very well. Jarvan being very fed again with that CS advantage and the 2 kills and 1 assist on himself, so being a big influence again in this game.
Yes, certainly. And now both bottom lanes now playing towards that top side of the map. Adzi coming back with 2 kills as well, so he's spiked up just a little bit more, taking that Caulfield's Warhammer and the attack speed boots. So maybe he can look to just keep the pressure up that top side. They're sending Rengus there as well. They might look to commit to the dive here. Darkstelion playing on the top side of the map, so He's wary that something up. We could see another hectic fight here. Azrael actually teleporting towards that top lane. They have the root collar. They might want the engage onto Goose here, but they have to watch out for the Jace damage. Darkstelion dropped very low, very, very quickly. And NSG able to keep the pressure up on that top side.
So very good pressure as well by NSG. I mean, not being overthrown by their first game loss, just coming back into this game and completely dominating at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. They're still losing out in that top lane 1v1 matchup, but the rest of the map is certainly in their favor. And they might be able to turn this into a second tower here with all the space they're able to create behind that top tower. Nice chunk coming in there. They go right onto Newt and drop him down. Killing spree for Rengus. The Nether Grasp will slow him down, but only for a little while. Double kill for him. And now in comes the Blade Caller. Darkstelion doesn't kill him, but it sets it up for the Jace once again. Triple kill for him. Do you see the solo kill coming down in that bottom lane as Darkblood takes control, but he's only watching the rest of his team die on the other side of the map. Adzi throwing out the dance moves there. After his mid laner gets that triple kill, going to turn it into a tower as well. NSG stepping up into the lead of this game.
Oh, so Darkwa doing work in top lane, like doing his job, helping his team out, but the tempo that this Jace is actually just bringing for NSG is just absolutely huge. 7-1 at the moment, 106 CS. I mean, I don't think there's any stopping this Jace. This is going to be a huge, huge factor in any team fight.
Yeah, they grabbed themselves the 2 towers there, and with Maokai getting to that bottom lane, looks like you might be able to get... Oh, Rengus, you can see he wants another one, but not able to catch anyone out with that shock blast. However, a lot of space now created in that top side. They might just look to stick to that mid lane, get that last outer tower down. They are close to 5k gold ahead here as we approach the 15-minute mark. And with Rengus just running the operation here for NSG, it looks like a tough task for Sentinel to fight back in the near future.
Absolutely. Rengus with that 7 kills, but a hidden hero that we did talk about in the early game is that Gragas with 6 assists in this game at the moment. So really applying that pressure and help that to the team that he needed to give.
Yeah, Goose wasn't looking for those quick early ganks, but when it came to diving those towers in the bottom side and the top side, he was there quickly and able to certainly have an impact in those scenarios. And now he's looking to play around the mid lane. When he gets there, right now just, farming up as Goose does. Right now, you can see the defense coming in. Oh, Root Collar going to land on Adzi, but they're not going to commit to the Xayah there for the moment. Maybe just wary of that one. See the Ivern brushes, maybe just helping them out in their defense here. They can hide out in the brushes there and make it a bit riskier for NSG to move towards that tower. But even so, once they get the Xayah and the Jace anywhere near those objectives, they can cut them down pretty quickly. Rift Herald might be the call here, or just to collapse onto Azrael.
I think Azrael's in a spot of trouble. Hasn't started his recall yet, so maybe...
Oh, he's might be taking the long walk home here. He's actually set up a push for Sentinel in that mid lane in response. So NSG having to play a bit more reactively here, but they can't get the members there. And Azrael, okay.
Just toying with his food.
Maybe hoping that the minions might finish it off with the auto attacks, but he gets it in the end. 8-1-0 now. I mean, once again, he is just accelerating further and further ahead here. If we look individually, he is currently almost 3k gold ahead of Azrael right now at 16 minutes. That's pretty nice, I guess.
That is substantial lead. So Goose actually starting up this Rift Herald at the moment. This would be a very nice pickup as well to add to that constant pressure that NSG are supplying.
Definitely. I mean, what it does, I think, is that mid lane tower might be really tough for them to commit to if Sentinel just play well stalling around it. But with the Rift Herald, they can pop a lot of quick damage onto it, and from that point it just takes a few more autos from Rengus, from Adzi, and they'll be able to get it down. So, pretty crucial, I think, for NSG to get that at this point in the game, and might see them use it right about now.
Yeah, right now.
Or
they got the Maokai ult as well.
Or they just get the tower anyway because Sentinel aren't there. Well, there's my analysis of that situation just going down the drain. But that's
that also works too. Walk it right in the front door if you can.
Yeah.
So what Drake do we have coming up? Mountain Drake spawning now in 15 seconds.
If they can get this for themselves as well, that just adds to the quickness at which they were taking these objectives. I mean, they have the Jace and the Xayah, which at this point really cut through those towers, and when Jace getting a few points in his W will only increase that to more end. Azrael's still pushing on that top side, so he should be able to get the tower for himself as well,
It's that
but
rebuild you're talking about.
they might lose some more in the mid lane here.
So Sentinel so far, apart from that TP down that Jarvan made and got the kill, all of their plays have been reactionary rather than actionary.
Yeah, it's kind of just trying to keep up with NSG as much as possible, but they've struggled to. Like, the start that NSG got off to, especially with their mid laner, was almost overwhelmingly big. I can't think of another word for it. It was just big for them to get that lead, and as a result,
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, Jace applying that pressure in mid lane, and then Rakan and Zaya applying that pressure in bot lane, shoving in the Tristana and Janna, allowed Goose to go in, get that early invade, take the blue away from the Ivern, and then completely open up the bot side of the map for like NSG. And it all just spiraled out of control from that wraparound gank when Jace got the solo kill back into the Goose gank on the second kill onto Malzahar then.
yeah, it allowed him to get back to lane with that serrated Dirk, which gives you the nice little bit of early lethality that can help you snowball a matchup nicely. Domo going to get a good bit of damage down. Okay.
Huge chunk. Huge chunk.
Well, that is what happens when an 8-1 Jace lands an accelerated shock blast on your AD carry, I guess.
I mean, I don't see NSG losing this driving seat that they have right now. As long as they don't make any overstays or unnecessary plays, I feel like NSG can take this game very comfortably.
Yeah, NSG have certainly done a good job of not only taking that early advantage, but just building off of it as much as possible. Because we talked about in the pick ban phase, the fact that they might be on a timer. When it gets to that late game points, there'll be a lot of protection for the Tristana, who can become a complete menace in the team fights. And NSG might be forced to make all their moves in the early to mid game, which they have definitely done. And Sentinel could be in a spot where they have to stall it out for quite a long time to catch up, really.
Yeah,
And NSG
I mean,
not giving them the space to do so.
at the 20-minute mark, moving towards this mid game, and you only have one outer tower. I mean, that's not looking good at all.
Definitely. They have Rust in that bottom lane looking to push in that wave, try get it to the one tower outside of that base. Sentinel do seem to be in stall mode, but Baron is available now. And considering
Yeah,
the
that's
advantage they
true.
have, potentially an option for NSG if they want to go for it.
So Baron has just spawned. It's only the 20-minute mark. NSG, all they have to do is just push in the waves, let the wards expire, sweep them out, put down your own control wards, and just play the bait game.
Oh, Domo. Oh, nice buster shot there, but Default going to go right back in, looking for that Tristana. Domo using absolutely everything to get away from that one. A lot of summoners blown there on that AD carry of Sentinel, but he is alive for the moment. NSG not able to catch him out there. They're just dealing with Daisy right now, able to take out the Ivern ultimate there. Thought they had the angle, but now looking to just push this down, and this is where Jace can also excel. In those situations under the tower, he can poke away, and he is constantly destroying Domo with these empowered Qs.
Just an absolute bully in this game at the moment. I feel Default is putting in work this game as well. Great playmaking ability, especially with that flash W right there.
Yeah. He's done that quite often. He's been able to get nice engages to set up these picks and forcing pretty much everything out of Sentinel here, but Darkblood might be looking to force the fight onto Default, able to use the battle dance to get away there, but they able to flash forward onto Adzi, and Azrael's going to be able to drop him, but he loses his life in response as Rengus goes godlike. 9-1 now. It's a 1-for-1 trade there. Two important players on both teams will be taken out, but Rengus, he wants even more here, popping the Yomus. Sentinel definitely giving Jace the space right now, but we're able to make that a 1-for-1 trade, which is better than a lot of what they've been getting.
That is true. Such a huge wave on the top side of the map that they actually have to send the Tristana. So if Jace pressures, no, he's kind of back.
Yeah, there's a
So
ward
the
in
map
that bush.
is the map is still hugely open to NSG. Absolutely no vision at all at the moment for Sentinel, but they can set that up around the Baron.
Yeah, definitely. Is
But I mean, it's not going to be long till NSG come back and
yeah.
clear that vision again. I mean, when you're
That
left with just your base, you don't have much to fall back onto.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's when you're this far behind and just not able to compete in terms of power spikes as well. It's even if you can get if you find the space to put those wards down in the crucial areas, it's tough for you to really defend them. And NSG
Yeah.
right now just going to work on that Baron area, and they're going to start it up. Actually, they want to commit to this. They have that Mountain Drake as well, which will give them the extra damage onto it here. Rengus as well, just trying to poke at the members on the side to see what extra damage he can get down. NSG, though, maybe not willing to risk the fight just yet because Sentinel have shown that they can pick up these kills, giving them the respect that might be necessary and peeling off of it for the moment.
But both teleports are actually being burnt in that trade right there. So next time NSG go to do it and they see Malzahar Jarvan in the bot lane, they can commit to it next time.
Yeah, if they can catch Azrael or Darkblaze in the wrong spot, they can certainly go for it. But with both those sideways pushing towards NSG towers, maybe not going to be an issue for Sentinel just yet.
Just yet, correct.
Yeah, next Drake going to be spawning in 40 seconds as well if teams want to keep an eye on that. That will be an Ocean Drake, so nothing too big. But once again, NSG almost faking back towards that Baron here, though there's a ward in the pit itself that I don't believe is cancelled out by any control wards, so they have the information that they need, and they know whether or not NSG is actually starting up the Baron itself.
So Sentinel just applying pressure of themselves here, just taking that mid tower.
Yeah, just able to pop Domo towards it, and at this point in the game, Tristana able to pop down the explosive charge, and a couple of auto attacks are enough to do the trick there. So third
Feeling
tower
a
of the
lot more
game.
comfortable, yeah. Feeling a lot more comfortable when the Maokai actually moved down. They saw him in the bot lane, so they knew they had the ability to move up and take the tower without being flanked.
Although, with Rust camping out in the bottom lane, he is the one player with that teleport. So there's no one who can go down and stop him without creating that numbers advantage for NSG towards that Baron area. But both Darkblaze and Azrael are sticking towards that bottom side of the map. NSG might have caught Sentinel between a rock and a hard place as they will start up the Baron there. Darkblaze has gone to the bottom lane, so he can't join a fight. But he might just look to fight Rust here and keep him from teleporting anyway as he chunks away at him. The Baron, meanwhile, is being taken here. He's going to actually send Daisy into the pit to cause destruction, but Rengus, he doesn't want the Baron. He wants the kills. Nethergrasp comes in, but Azrael will go down to the Ignite on the side. Rengus gets his 10th of the game here. They had to stop the Baron up. Once again, Default looking for the engage, but he's chunked out before he can catch out Domo there. Explosive cast does come in, looking for the Tristana. Domo can jump over the wall, but Goose is going to follow with the flash body slam. And Anti now coming out of the side. Monsoon is not going to save the Tristana. Another double kill for Rengus. He is getting absolutely everything. 12 and 1. They have cleaned out the members of Sentinel towards that Baron pit. They are starting up the Baron itself, and NSG just still on a roll.
And you'll have to think that's the Baron secured now for NSG, unless this Ivern can make a very sneaky play over
Goose?
the back of the pit.
Goose? Okay, never mind. He's fine. He's getting the shields in there. I was worried a little bit. Ivern is still there. If he goes in, he steals it! Dark Steelio gets the steal, and it's a double kill for Darkblaze as well. He gets a triple. Does he get the quadra? No, that Ivern gets the last kill there, but oh God! If that was the one play that Sentinel need, and they get it. Getting 4 kills and the Baron. And look at the gold lead. It's just completely closed back up with the 2 heroes of Sentinel, Dark Steelion and Darkblaze, coming up trumps.
Oh, wow. So you definitely have to respect Sentinel now by being back in this game. Like, that J4 right now is so huge. Not as big as the Jace, but such a big impact in this game now. Especially with this Baron buff, Sentinel are right back in this.
That is absolutely, because completely changes the complexion of this game. This Jarvan now is going to be a real force to be reckoned with if he can get to that backline, and it keeps, more importantly, I think it just keeps Sentinel on track now. They have that goal, they have the potential to take more towers if they can push the lanes in, and as we pointed out, they just need to get themselves to that ladder game points, and they should have the stronger comp. So really, really crucial play coming out there from Dark Steelion. to get
Very.
that Baron away, and then from Darkblight to clean up the kills afterwards. The goal lead is almost even between these two teams.
So this is the stalling that Sentinel needed that we were talking about. This is, even though they're backed right up to the base with the one outer tower only remaining, this is what they needed to get this Tristana farmed up, to get everyone on their team slightly more caught up with this NSG team.
Yeah, definitely. At this point, I want to see the goalie that Rengus has still over Azrael. He's 2.5k ahead, which means the rest of his team is 2.5k behind. I think a lot of that will be Darkblight in that top lane, with those 6 kills that he has over Rust himself. But certainly right now, this has just completely changed it. We're talking about just the march of NSG, but Sentinel have flipped that completely on its head. Azrael can split push now really nicely with this Baron buff. Just keep those waves going towards the tower, and it's going to be tough for Rust to stop him on his own. They might be able to send Rengus, but then they're missing all of their power from the rest of the map, so
That
Sentinel now have an opportunity to get a bit of pressure for themselves.
Sentinel just don't have the vision at the moment deep into the enemy jungle, so like Azrael can't move up that far just yet.
Yeah, NSG still can make that quick collapse coming in, but Sentinel right now have just got the game back to where they want it and need to make the plays happen. Or don't need to make the plays happen, they can just stall it out and try like the fight to come to them. If Domo can keep himself alive, he should be able to pump out a bit of damage. He has those 2 big items in the eye edge and the rapid fire cannon, so certainly a threat if he stays alive for long enough. But once again, there's always the ace in the hole for NSG. Rengus is still huge, now 12 and 2. And if he can burst down Domo, then that just disrupts a lot of what Sentinel will need to do.
That is true. I feel like Ivern making that play reminds me a lot like Alex Dude Zero throwing every single smite ever.
Oh god. Okay. I don't think he's even in chat to defend himself. Are you just hitting him while he's not around to?
I mean, he there's VODs. He can catch it.
He's I suppose. You gotta send it to him and make sure that he knows he's being BM'd at least. His smites come in 9 minutes too late, but right now,
oh god,
Rengus looking to maybe collapse on that bottom side, but Azrael will be recalling that bush.
Yeah, so like you say before, really slagging off Alex Dude Zero, that this Domo, if he is supplied with the shields from this Ivern and Janna, yeah, you're right. Having the IE and the rapid fire cannon right now is a huge deal.
I mean, Ardent Sensors don't stack, but there'll be almost permanent uptime on those, considering the amount of protection that Ivern and Janna can give between the two of them. There's also the Knight's Vow and the Redemption coming in. Locket as well will be built by Newt here, by the looks of things. So
a question I have actually now is the Knights or the Locket actually more value on an Ivern rather than a Janna, because it scales off the base health now, right?
I believe it does, and that's why people build the Locket and the Stoneplate, because
yeah, the Locket and Stoneplate. So maybe it's better if the Janna has maybe the Redemption's fine on an Ivern. You don't want to double stack Redemption straight away. Obviously, that's okay. But maybe the Knight's Vow might have been nicer on Janna. Not too sure. I've been out of the game for a while now, so. But I knew the Locket was absolutely huge on these tanky junglers like Cho'Gath, the Gragas, with after popping the Stoneplate, just giving that huge shield.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's something that Sentinel didn't consider on their side. Maybe just wanted the M or there. Oh, they might have to pick here. A lot of quick damage onto him, and the Redemption is not going to come quick enough for him. 13 kills now for Rengus, if he didn't need any more already. He's doing very well for himself. NSG maybe find themselves an opening to get more for themselves after they have been starved out from getting anything for the last while.
So that is a pickup on the kill, but I mean, there's no objectives on the map to take right now, and I don't feel like they have the pushing power to take this top tower.
Yeah, it might be tough for them. Rengus hoping to maybe just split towards that mid lane. Azrael has made the recall though, so he can join his team. Rust in that bottom lane might have to TP up if he's to do anything here, but NSG not able to turn that pick that they got into anything else. Rengus scoping for those shock blasts over the wall, but when he doesn't connect, he has to wait a while to get that acceleration gate back up, and as a result, nothing coming for the moment for NSG, with Darkstelion spawning in a couple of seconds. maybe look to rotate towards that bottom side. They have the wave towards the tower, but you talked about the wave clear that Sentinel have. Azerul and Domo at this point in the game just demolished those minion waves very quickly, so NSG, I think they need more than just one kill if they want to really cause damage to a tower.
True. Yeah, that pick was nice. I mean, it's a bit more gold in the pocket, but they're not going to get anything off it. I think they realize that the wave clear on Sentinel is too strong at the moment, and they can't siege as well as they want to. So it's just stalling out again for that Baron, and hopefully not pulling off an Alex Dude Zero Smite.
Jeez, you're going in hard on your former jungler. I'm not sure if he played.
I mean,
recently.
there's been so many games that have been lost that, I mean, he deserves it.
Oh, Sentinel. They want to start this up. They've all 5 members there, and they're going to get through this quickly. Tristana can do a good bit of damage. Goose, though, has his smite, trying to get into the pit. Explosive cast comes in, but he's not able to get to it just yet, and they are focusing down the Gragas instead, going to knock him away. But now NSG want the fight, and will be finished off by Domo there. But now, can NSG turn this into a fight for themselves? Trying to get to that backline, looking for Azerul there, able to choke him out, not finishing him off. Rengus does get the Malzahar, but Domo just hammering away, takes out the mid, kind of started off. They get the Rakan as well, double kill, and now we'll look to rocket jump, reset through that fight, triple kill, looking for that Quadra. Will be taken away by Dark Blab, but Sentinel have hit the point. Domo walks away with the Quadra kill as it is an ace for Sentinel, and the comp is coming online. The hero play managed to get them to the point in the game that they needed, and they can move into the base of NSG.
That is huge for Sentinel. Domo's just sitting at the back of the Baron pit, being untouched completely in that fight. This is the actionary plays that were lacking in the early game from Sentinel. Just making calls, making decisions, going for that Baron, and actually pulling it off.
Inhibitor will be going down here without a shadow of a doubt, and they're not going to stick around to try end the game for the moment. I think they know that they can just keep taking these fights and keep themselves in a good spot for now with that base exposed. If you went back to the 20-minute mark, there is no way that you would have thought it would be Sentinel the first ones to take out an inhib tower, or an inhibitor even, but
there's no way we could have predicted this. I mean, Dark Ceiling just stepping up, especially with Dark Blah as well. That just solo play taking that Baron completely flipped this game on its head.
And we have got the spectator bug, and my game is paused at exactly 35 minutes. Which is fantastic. But, I mean, right now, NSG just... they've lost all of the power they had. All of the... just the advantage that they could... before they could get to those neutral objectives, just those big zones, and take the fights knowing that they were the superior comp at that point. But at this stage, Sentinel ahead in gold, close to 5k, and with that big Tristana being buffed by the Ivern, buffed by the Janna, they have lost a lot of that power.
Sentinel have flipped this gold into their favor, but I'm not sure if they still have the driving power. I mean, this game is not over by any means. I feel like either team has the ability to take this.
Okay, so I just had the best thing in the world happen, in which can I spectate you, because my spectate client bugged out and apparently the game's already over.
Oh, well,
yeah, I know it's
no spoilers. I mean,
I mean, if you want to keep watching, that's fine. Oh man, well, I mean, people could see on the screen who won. We got that was what an anticlimactic way to end the.
So going solo cast on my first cast right at the end of this. There's actually a base race going on right at the end of this game. Rakan, Saya, Gragas, Jace all taking Sentinel's inhibitor, while Sentinel just take NSG's base.
I mean, that sounds like it's a pretty bad call from.
Yeah, just a bad call with this Baron up minions, and Sentinel, NSG do recall in time now, but Sentinel Domo not being attacked at all, and Sentinel winning this fight completely.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I mean, we could maybe listen to the radio cast for a little bit.
So tidied up with a pentacle from Domo, not being touched at all in any bit of that fight. Yeah, Domo.
Oh no! Oh
my god!
Man, you're killing me here. I can't believe we missed this. All right.
He couldn't write about it. Sentinel, my boys, 2-0.
The amazing 2-0 coming in from Sentinel. Big play from Dark City on to turn it around. Even with the hero effort from Rengus, one play from Sentinel was all it took, and they managed to turn it around and get to that point where their comp just took it. And a pentakill for Domo as well, really stepping up as the damage carry. Pentakill we didn't get to see, But congrats to Sentinel for winning their first series of the Irish League of Legends Championship 2-0. Congrats to them. Commiserations to NSG, who really put in a good fight, especially in Game 2, but just couldn't take it. From us, that will be it for this evening. There's another series on later. Same Gaming will go up against Hastily Made. We'll try get that one streamed. It'll likely be on another channel. I believe the legendary Ian Coxyboss Cox has volunteered to take that one for himself. But from me and Luke this evening, thank you for watching, and a very good evening.